happen.
Nothing happened whatsoever.
There's nothing happening today in the world of computer security at all. Or geopolitics either. That's nothing.
No, it's just over the weekend.
Let's not talk about that, guys.
I will say that is not in the current. Is there anything cyber related we want to talk about that? Because I didn't. There's nothing in the articles about it.
I haven't seen hardly anything. I know
that's homegrown bomb stuff right there.
Yeah, there's no cyber stuff.
I read a really good article about how they have a 2-tier internet system in Iran. Did anybody else read that?
No.
I don't know where it was, but it was super interesting.
Yeah, I haven't heard that, but it tracks with what I know about their efforts for censorship and state control.
I mean, I assume that North Korea has the same. I would assume most, regimes like this have 2 tiers of internet.
I'm surprised you think North Korea has an internal internet. Like, I would think Iran is far more robust, right? Like, people there have cell phones where...
No, there's North Korean cell phones.
Is there really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're super locked down. They're Android devices.
Do you think it's like when you first saw an iPhone in like the early 2000s, seeing a cell phone there?
I think it's more like, dang it, it's not food. That would be my assumption. Yeah. It's just like technology. I don't give a crap. I just want like a piece of meat.
I was reading a.
Oh no.
This podcast is sponsored by Starlink Mini. Have you ever tried podcasting from a Tesla charger? Somehow there's no Wi-Fi, even though we set it up and plugged it in.
It's a shame because the minis, we have one too, and we use it for responding to fire and emergency incidents in the neighborhood, and they've behaved very well, but I guess John is... Oh no, we lost him.
There was an active Starlink scam going out where they were calling people and telling them that their current Starlink setup is old and that they need to upgrade, and targeting elderly people. And I know several that fell for it.
Of course.
Aww.
I know, right? So just
what
remember,
was the scam? Just give us money, basically?
Yeah. Pay us $500 and we'll send you out all the new equipment.
Okay.
Paid the $500. There is no new equipment.
It's funny when I tell people, I'm sorry, I do not respond to unsolicited phone calls of any kind. You're not going to get a credit card number. The reactions are pretty interesting sometimes.
I'm surprised you even answer. I have my phone set up where it doesn't answer unless the phone number is in my phone.
I screen calls too. Yeah.
I use the AI screening.
Back to that.
It is nice. And I don't answer. Even if it's a client, they'll just leave a super helpful message that says, "Hey, I'm a client. Call me back," and then I'll call them back.
Our domain is completely down. What did you do to the domain controller?
Did you curb roast the left wing of the building again?
Did you restart the website? Sales told us not to restart the website. No.
That curb roasting the left wing of the building is an inside joke from an interview we did years ago with someone who said that was his critical awesome pen test story, is that he took down the left wing of a building by curb roasting it too hard. And needless to say, that person did not get the job, but it was a fun story. I was like, is curb roasting known for taking things down? Because that's news to me.
It's loud, right?
It's loud, but I think he was thinking password guessing, not curb roast.
Yeah.
Rubius or something. Or
a wild John Strand has appeared.
Yeah, shit on Tesla while I'm using a Tesla supercharger. Apparently, that didn't go over well.
They have an algorithm for that.
Yes, they have an AI algorithm for that.
Speaking of which, are we going to talk about the Discord banning?
Yes.
Okay, we got that. All right, let's do it. Let's
Wait,
roll.
banning? Please explain.
Yeah, there was Microslop. I think it was Microslop.
Microslop.
They actually made it a banned word on. I want to say it was Discord.
Yeah, I think that's only in their Discord, though, right?
No, I think it was globally.
It's globally banned? No, it's not.
What's
Yeah,
it
yeah,
called?
yeah.
Everybody tested this.
I just put it right in the chat. We're good.
It is.
We're good.
It is.
Microsoft,
He's right. There's an
Microsoft has
article.
banned the term Microslop from its official Copilot Discord server.
Yes, from its Discord,
Okay.
not from like it's
I
not
thought I was
global
trying to ban it across, but even on their own, it's like, come on. All right,
Yeah.
are we ready to
Oh
go
well, it's
live?
just moderation. Yeah, yeah. Roll the finger. Let's do this.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to Black Hole's Information Security's Talking About News. It's March 2nd, 2026, and we're here with our Microslop. We have a completely AI-generated podcast today with hosts me. I'm a supply chain risk. Do not use me if you're a government contractor. We've got Bronwyn, who's using agentic AI to use social media instead of using it herself. We have Ashley, who is here. Good job, Ashley.
Thanks.
And whose kid apparently has good taste in cars because they told someone their Cybertruck was ugly. We have Ashling, Sir Serial, or Siri Cereal?
Cereal.
Securial?
Sir
Everybody
Curial?
does this. Cereal.
Yeah,
It's a
everybody
hard
does it
C.
because it's.
So wait,
It's,
what's your
everybody does
favorite
it because it's
cereal?
hard to pronounce.
Okay, can you just tell me what your favorite cereal is so we can move on?
Honey Nut Cheerios.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
nice.
Excellent
Good cereal.
choice.
Good cereal.
Excellent
Nailed
choice.
it. Excellent choice. Okay.
We've got John Strand. If you can read this, you're not on Starlink. We've got Wade wading through Moltbook. That's new. He changed his screen name.
Nice.
Ralph got done hunting gators and now he's wrangling AI instead, which is a little concerning to me. But whatever.
Yeah, they're harder to catch, honestly.
I did watch a video last night where a guy was hunting gators, and I was like, "This is easier than it looks."
Actually, I already told you the secret. You just play baby gator noises, and you're good to go, dude.
Baby
then
gators,
lastly-
aren't their noises like pew, pew, some kind
No,
of
no,
weird
it's like a croak. It's like a little like croak.
little croak. Okay.
I think, John, if a gator approaches your vehicle, please let us know. And
I will let you know if I have a gator in Gillette, Wyoming, something really
correct.
bad has happened with my medication.
Yeah, I mean, he hardly has internet. How the hell do you think he's going to do that?
Frogs? Yeah, there's a whole frog thing, but gators, no.
No.
All right, and then lastly, we've got Megan making us look good and smell good, but you can't smell us because it's a podcast.
God, that's lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
I've
there's a
got the
lot
smell
of
going.
spicy stuff today. I mean, where do we want to start? Anthropic. We got there's so much. I feel like we maybe start with Anthropic. I don't know.
I
What
think
do
we
you guys
should.
think?
I think that's the
Who
one
is
most people
Anthropic
wanna
and who
talk about.
uses Claude? I don't know of anyone who uses
Bro.
No one
No
uses
one.
Claude.
No.
Okay,
I
so
ran out of Claude code credits this weekend, and I was going crazy. I was like, "What am I
dude,
gonna do? I'm not
those
paying
those
my money."
Claude code credits are the latest drug addiction in the world. Of,
I've been told.
tech
I've
people.
been told by the Anthropic that I should never let my employees ever say that they ran out of credits. It should be like an infinite shower of like gold shower of credits
I
just
knew it
raining
was
on
going.
my employees.
Gold shower, not
Brr.
golden showers.
It doesn't matter as
I
long
just
as you're
feel-
shimmers.
I just
That's
feel
how
like
much it would cost
Nope.
too.
Yeah,
by the
that's
way,
I feel like it's going to be a scene from Home Alone.
We got a form that we're filling out. We got a form. It's the R. Kelly form in SharePoint that you have to fill out to get those. So,
what does that mean? Your mind's telling you no, but your
That's
body's
too
telling
far.
you yes.
That's right. Okay, so I got to
Okay.
back off. Gotta
Okay,
back off a little bit.
let's do the podcast now.
All right.
So basically, the backstory on this, for those that don't know, is last week we talked about it on the news. Anthropic, the company that makes Claude, which is one of the frontier models, is feuding or was feuding with the Pentagon, was feuding with the U.S. government. Basically, their two hard no's were, number one, we can't just give you carte blanche to make killbots and autonomous like robots with guns. That was one of their hard no's.
Good.
And their other
By
hard
the
no
way-
was,
By the way, I want to just point out that's a good start. That's a good start for any software development project.
also, by the way, on the topic of killbots, one of the most crazy things that I learned as part of this process is there's no law against killbots. It's just internal policy, which is
We lost
it's like
John again?
It's like as a company, as a pen test company saying, well, we don't really have any laws that prevent us from stealing all your data. It's internal policy that we don't steal all your data usually. But that's a crazy thing for me.
That seems like an oversight. Like no killbots should be a law. Like we should
I
have a law.
fully agree. I can't believe there's no law.
Convention thing, right? Like if shotguns got like almost outlawed at one point, why aren't killer robots?
Oh, dude, Geneva Convention. We ignore that on our own civilians. It says not to tear gas, and we do that anyway.
Yeah.
So okay.
All right.
The other
So
thing that
number one
Anthropic
was no killbots. What was number two?
Number 2 was mass surveillance of U.S. citizens, which is obviously a great use case for AI. Hey, find me all the people doing stuff I don't agree with, right? Like easy query. But those two things the Pentagon wanted to do, and Anthropic said no. And then there was talks. The CEO of Anthropic was summoned to Washington to have a hard sit-down meeting with Mr. Hegseth himself. And then predictably, those talks didn't pan out in a good and productive way. I'm sure some insults were hurled back and forth. And basically, that the government labeled Anthropic a supply chain risk, which, from what I understand, means that if you're a government contractor, you have to not use it within the next 6 months. You have to replace it internally.
Well, they also want to push it to the point where if you're like a supplier, like you cannot use it in the government, but if you're a company that's using it, you cannot have contracts. So it's like downstep.
It's basically as far as they can go, right? This is the most punitive measure they can apply. So it's not clear exactly what's going to happen. The government, it sounds like the government itself will have like a 6-month transition period. And, in addition to that, while all that happened, OpenAI has signed a contract with the government. They were like, we love killbots. We are working on
killbots, and we love mass surveillance. These things are awesome. And by the way, anyone that gives us a hard time by how much energy we're using, have you thought about how much energy a human uses?
It's a lot of food.
Until the day where that's so much food.
The calories.
So many calories.
I did the math. I did the math on this. Yes.
All right.
You can feed 3,000 children to adulthood for the cost of one GPT-4 training. You can also spend enough to raise 250 children to adulthood at U.S. averages for what it cost, actual dollars, to make GPT-4.
I find their terms acceptable. We should start feeding all children immediately.
Can I just ruin?
Yes, we should.
Can I ruin a whole movie for you? In the movie The Matrix, where they were feeding the humans to get minuscule amounts of energy.
That makes no sense. We're not thermodynamically efficient. What are you doing?
Way more energy to feed them than they would have gotten. It ruins the whole movie. Sorry.
Yes. I agree. That's a plot hole. So
do ruin movies. Just saying.
Yeah. So basically,
what if we outsource it?
I think the thing. We tried that. It didn't work. So I think the thing that gets me with this, I wasn't expecting it to be OpenAI. I was expecting another company to jump in, but I was expecting it to be like Grok. That's what exactly. Yeah. But then I was like, well, I guess they don't get any pork at Grok because they got, the whole fallout with the Doge stuff. I don't know, but like
I was more scared of the Grok thing though, because those robots would be really dumb. Like it would be.
So Grok robots are just become Costco greeters. Or like,
they're just like, your receipt looks good. I'm going to kill you now. Sorry.
I don't know. Given other things going on with Grok, it might be like preferentially going after some really ugly target choices.
I know, right? It'd be like,
right?
Oh, Grok,
like,
no. Why is this?
This is even worse than worse.
Bottleneck, but I don't know. This seems like this could be bad.
Yeah, I mean,
Grok
basically,
is already there.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of cyber on this topic. From our perspective, just to be a little transparent, we use Claude pretty heavily at BHIS, and a lot of our partners use it as well. And we're not planning on stopping, at least not right now, unless someone says you actually have to stop. But it's kind of just fun to wake up on a Monday morning and be like, oh yes, this tool you use, you can't use it anymore. Like, I can't believe that's a thing. But
I can't believe that the government can be that punitive. Like, just like
yeah.
you hurt my feelings.
Really?
Listen, I know. I'm just saying, like, maybe in an earlier time, like in earlier years, like I felt like it was better, right? Like it was.
Well, okay,
Yeah, let's
Ralph.
not set an actual date on that, but yeah.
Yeah. Let's not. I agree. I mean, I think like all of the U.S. government tampering in private companies, like this is a hot topic that goes back hundreds of years, right? This to me is, I'm sure there's lawyers right now just using AI across the board to try to figure out how they're going to fight this, and like it'll be solved in the courts like it always is, or someone will make a call and it'll go away like magically. Who knows? But
Well, and at BHIS, just kind of bringing it down, I had a number of testers and a number of people reach out and like, do we have to stop using this? And I'm like, we don't make decisions based on one idiot in the Pentagon and what he says, right? Or she, whoever may say it in the government. If we start getting actual policy documents that come down, then we will have another conversation. But even then, like, that's literally destroying that company. Like, there's no way that Anthropic will continue to exist at the level that they're existing if they get cut off at the knees that way. So I don't know. It's going to be a Mexican standoff for a while. Let's see where it goes. But I'm a firm believer in no killbots and no mass surveillance. And honestly, we have Palantir that's doing that.
yeah, but they don't have frontier models.
But I think it's within Anthropic's rights to say, we're willing to work with you under these conditions. And they did. And now you can't Darth Vader it and be like, we're changing the terms to pray we don't change them any further. That's not how this is supposed to work. And I am fairly certain that attorneys will get involved even at the Pentagon and be like, Pete, you can't do that. Like, you can't sign a contract with these particular terms, try to alter it, and then punish them because we signed a contract with these things at the beginning. Now, the world's a weird place. Who knows? But I wouldn't get too worked up about it right now. I'd be hard pressed to believe that anyone in the Pentagon has like that long of a memory when we get further on down the line.
Yeah. All right. Any other final thoughts on this? I mean, I think
No.
it's basically like not really a cyber thing.
Yeah.
We'll stay tuned.
No, true.
This is why we have this show. If new stuff comes out, we'll let you know. But for now, it's kind of just a government slap on the wrist, the classic. On the AI topic, and by the way, I guess before we move on, it is worth noting that a lot of other AI, we have plenty of articles we're not going to talk about of other companies that have AI ties that are having, bad days in the stock market because it's basically exposing some of the potential dangers and risks of our reliance on these very small number of companies for very large, tasks. But anyway, apparently the EU has blocked AI tools on all official devices. This is kind of interesting. So this is an article in TechCrunch. Basically, the European Parliament has blocked, including the built-in stuff. So basically, this includes things like, Copilot, ChatGPT, Claude. These are now all banned on European Union parliamentary devices. Now, I don't know how many devices that actually is, if I'm assuming if you're a diplomat at this level, you have like 17 phones and they're labeled with like a label maker and that's how you keep track of them. But go ahead.
It's probably not just, if it's all official devices, you're talking multiple levels because you've got your actual representatives in parliament, you've got their staff, you've got whatever is tied to their offices. So percentage of the population in the EU, it's small, but it's a significant in terms of people who are potentially about AI.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of the writings on the wall with this. I would expect similar bans from almost any government entity. Like, it doesn't, all these built-in tools, most companies have banned them too, right? Like, you can't just allow arbitrary AI usage across your entire, government or company or whatever. So
I think it's easier for them to do this integrated one though, right? So they're looking for the defaulted stuff that's turned on. It's once you start doing it from like a DLP perspective, like what about the third party? What about them installing stuff or using some random online one? That's when stuff gets real hard, at least.
And I think that that's the rabbit hole, right, Wade? I mean,
yep.
When you take this policy and start trying to peel it back, it gets really complicated very quick. But this is something the EU is struggling with, right? I can't remember which country, if it was Belgium or if it was Denmark, but they're starting to push away from Microsoft and all of the, kind of the cloud providers that are based on the United States. There's a lot of money in the EU that's now being invested by numerous governments to come up with open source solutions for a lot of the commercial SaaS products that they're buying in the United States as well. So this is just one more kind of like snowball and an avalanche that's starting. And I don't see this slowing down. I don't see this as like the big thing, but this is just more of that constant flow of trying to move away from US SaaS providers, whether or not it's AI or whether or not it's SaaS products as well.
I bet you Cloud
that's
Code
a good
could
point.
really help you set up all those open source tools.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Wade. Like how do you build your DIY SaaS products without Claude Code, man, or without a coding agent? Like that would make it 10 times harder.
You used to had to use Zapier or like any of those tools to try to tie it all together, but man, Claude Code is way easier to do.
You can run your own like self-hosted models and stuff like that. That you can run them at like some level. They're not quite Claude, but like you can get pretty close and but it's still not inexpensive just to put that out there. So, but yeah, I could definitely see the reliance on something like these more frontier models, especially as they improve, to be like, how can I keep up? Right? Like they're like in whatever way, how can I keep up if this model is what we're actively using and other people are too? So,
and by the way, I didn't major in poli-sci, but I feel like this whole thing that just happened with the Department of War is a great example of why they shouldn't be using US SaaS products from a sovereignty perspective. It makes perfect sense to me. Like, oh, what if some random dude just decides we are our accounts and all of our emails are deleted? Oh, that'd be awkward. Yeah. So let's hope we see more of the open source rise in the EU. That's pretty cool. So yeah, as far as AI, I mean, there's a lot more that I guess we can kind of combine two articles. One article is that the Mexican government posted a really interesting, basically it starts on a Reddit thread and it kind of goes, there's a Bloomberg article as well, but basically someone or, a threat actor used Claude to breach the Mexican government and exfiltrate a bunch of sensitive information. They claim 150 gigabytes of data. We don't necessarily know how, we don't know anything about the security of the Mexican government, but what I can tell you is this is going to be the theme of 2026 is threat actors using AI to attack entities, whether it's companies, countries, everything is going to be attacked using agentic AI. And the write-up is pretty simple. Like basically from my perspective, like as a tester, they're basically just chaining a bunch of stuff, things that we would normally consider too high complexity or too much work to do. AI can do it. And so if you like a company or a country, they have huge attack surfaces and AIs are really good at chaining vulnerabilities together. That's basically what happened here is minor vulnerabilities get turned into major vulnerabilities because all the fancy, they were able, like as an example, they were able to use AI to help bypass the WAF. So like a simple thing like bypassing the WAF, not necessarily like a crazy thing that like only, APTs can bypass WAFs, but it definitely speeds them up that they can use, AI to do this kind of stuff.
Correlating the other article with what did you read the CrowdStrike global threat report? Is that what you're going to go with?
Yeah. Okay. So exactly. So like this combines with the CrowdStrike global threat report, which there's a few insights I have from this, but AI is heavily featured in this. I don't know the exact numbers, but essentially, a huge portion of compromises use Gen AI. So like not only just for like writing phishes or so the stat is AI enabled adversaries increased operations by 89%. So like basically at this point, if you're a threat actor and you're not using AI, you're doing it wrong. And that applies to pen testing firms too, right? Like, or anyone, it applies to like basically everyone. If you're not using AI at this point, you're probably doing it wrong. But threat actors are doing it, and that to me is the biggest reason why now we as pen testers and security people, that means we have to do it too. If the threat actors, if the bad guys are doing it, our whole thing is to do what the bad guys are doing so that our clients are safe. So now we have to use AI. There's some other interesting insights, I guess, in that report. One was that I think it was 80% or something of compromises used authorized channels. So like using, valid credentials to log in, using like a vishing call to deploy like legitimate tools and exfiltrate data using legitimate tools. Like that's the theme, is like living off the land. Like we know the blank spider threat actors, they do just like quick assist, and then they just upload all your data using WinSCP. It's like the simplest possible kill chain, but it works. So that was, that's definitely seems to be the theme. I guess, does anyone else have any insights or other like things they learned from that report? Wade, it sounds like you had something.
I haven't read it yet, so to be completely honest, I'm on like paternity leave, so I haven't done anything cyber. I just read the news for once 30 minutes before I got here. But I was in awe that they said in 29 minutes from initial
lateral move
to lateral movement, right?
Dude,
like,
we were talking about this.
Ridiculous.
Yes, we were talking about this on our team. So yeah, basically the stat for people that don't know what we're talking about, in CrowdStrike's report, they say that the average time to move laterally was less than 30 minutes. So like 29 minutes average e-crime breakout time. The thing that I don't like, I want to clarify this. I think when Wade and I are thinking about lateral move, we're thinking about it in a traditional sense of establishing a C2 position on a different host. So like a completely different computer. I think what they mean by this is going to the next phase, or gaining access to additional systems, like including cloud information, like exfiltrating data S3. I think that's what that's basically what I'm imagining. This is like they get onto a system and then they immediately start doing bad stuff. I don't think it means moving to another system. I think it means maybe grabbing cloud tokens, grabbing API information, or just like I said with Quick Assist, just uploading data using WinSCP immediately. So they're not doing any kind of they're not doing any actual like C2 agents or DLL sideloading or binary exploitation or anything like that. I think they're literally just saying, we're on a system, we're going to start accessing SaaS products, accessing API keys, and then like going into different systems. Like to me, that counts as a lateral move in 2026, just going after the cloud infrastructure. But I don't know.
I think they're definitely incentivized to move as fast as possible, especially if we have on device detection, and we're just like the time, like their motivation is the longer I'm here, the likelier it's going to get shut down eventually. So let's just make this time go as fast as possible, right? As opposed to like intentionally being like, no, I'm going to wait it out. I don't want to get detected. And then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that. So I think it's kind of a shift, especially if they're just going after whatever it is, right? Whether that be information, data, ransomware, whatever they're trying to do.
Well, and this is one of the things I think is interesting. There's a lot of conversations about how, computer security is going to be solved with AI. And I think it's interesting because the defensive side, there's a whole bunch of vendors that like, we're going to solve the SOC problems with AI. And then you flip over to the offensive side, and there's a bunch of offensive vendors that are like, we've solved offense with AI. So this goes back to something Corey said at the very beginning. We're just going to use the tools and the techniques that the attackers are using. One way or the other, the hackers are going to show us the way.
Well said, John / AI John.
I mean,
I guess, Wade, anyone else that read this report, any other insights? There was vishing is still a thing. Like that's, that's still super common. I mean, it's a lot of just continuations of the themes we've seen in the past.
I skimmed it to try to understand what their level of what their definition of lateral movement, right?
Yes.
And so like Jeff's in the chat, and Jeff actually said like, I just wish all of our definitions were actually the same, right? So, and
do they have a definition in there?
I like
They
the
don't.
confusion. It makes things more fun.
Well, yeah, that's the only thing. But like John said, the interesting part is the attackers, right? They have full access to the AIs completely, where I'm finding that defenders right now are just now finally getting access, right? Like we have to make sure that everything's okay. All the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed before the defenders can actually use a product and actually deploy it and usually make good of it. I think that's just now really starting to happen, even with the AI SOC stuff. I've heard good and bad about it, but I want to see what people are doing with like the homegrown stuff. Like you actually have a really good team that's just building something out themselves, and I think that's going to start coming to fruition like probably this year.
I think if you want, you could set up a meeting and you could talk to Ethan about what we're doing in our SOC. But one of the things I've learned and kind of listening to our SOC and what we're doing is AI is not anywhere close to being the silver bullet that's being promised, right, for the SOC, because we work with multiple different EDRs, and working with multiple different EDRs, it's almost like you have to train the AI for each one of the EDRs that you're going to be dealing with and how to handle it properly. So.
Oh, I've talked to Hayden plenty of times. I know all about it.
Yeah, and for those
who do you think got me on the Claude Code? It was
the other thing that I've been thinking about recently too, about this AI discussion about like the attackers and the defenders now having AI. What if you took away the ability for, or like, what if, for example, they don't have access to that frontier model, right? What if they start cutting that off or making it harder to get? Now they're like severely weakened, right, to actually be able to do things because of people's reliance on it. Like just like everything, you built your whole stack off the fact that it exists, right?
Yeah, that gets into one of my points is a lot of companies are looking at AI as a rip and replace or downsize, right? We can do what we're doing. We can do it cheaper. We can get rid of people. Instead of looking at AI as it should be, I'm going to augment my existing team and make my team more awesome moving forward. And that's going to be one of the big struggles that we have in security, I think, in the next 12 months.
Well, and then the other thing too is like it's those products that they're making that rely on Claude Code. What if Claude Code finally goes, guess what? We spent $500 billion and we're going to have to raise those token credits. It's going up. It's going to get more expensive. But your company needs that to make money now, right?
Vendor locked? No, we've never seen that before. No one's vendor locked. IBM made money. IBM made more than Microsoft until like 2008 because of vendor lock. Anyway.
What about Uber? I mean, Uber's full business model: go in, be cheap, wipe out all the existing taxis, and then start raising prices.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's the standard tech play now. You become the market, you become the oligopoly or whatever you want to call it, and then you just sit down together and say, so boys, how much does a token cost? What if it costs twice as much, eh?
I can tell you that RAM price, it's going to come to rooster, right, when they ask for more. Those billions of dollars that those investors are doing, they're not doing it for fun. They want their money back.
Yeah.
It's going to have to get paid, right?
You're not going to get it all back. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
Well, no.
No, it's fine. We'll just mine Bitcoin. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
But my bigger like technical security point was just like if attackers all rely so heavily on it, and then somehow it starts getting more like harder for them to get a hold of, obviously they're going to shift tactics. They're going to build their own, and I get that. But I mean that could cause like this image of like the DDoS attacks, right? Like if you can cut them the ability for them to perform that, then that could be a rippling effect, right? So I think it could get interesting, right?
It'll just be the same thing as like every other globalized industry. It'll be like we start as the industry leader, then DeepSeek is like, we have tokens for half the price. And there'll be like somehow tokens like AI models built out of Bangladesh or something that somehow costs like 25%.
It'll be Chinese.
Yeah. Right? And then we'll have like budget, and then, then we'll become overly reliant on them. Then they'll cut off access. It'll be a whole thing. And then we'll have tariffs or like a 10% token.
Token tariff.
People got real concerned that I'm webcasting and driving at the same time. That would be irresponsible. I am in the passenger seat.
He's in an Uber. Clear. It's a self-driving car.
He's in the U.S. That is not the driver's seat.
These self-driving cyber trucks, I'm sure, are completely safe. No.
It says full self-driving on it.
He promised me.
All right.
I'm not in the cyber truck either, if you're joining us late. So
let's make a left turn in our trucks, in our cyber dumpsters, and talk about a leak that confirmed that Graphene and Motorola are partnering up, which is super exciting. We had kind of a bummer of an Android article last week, which was basically that Google is ratcheting up the pressure, becoming more Apple-like, and basically going to they're going to get rid of anonymous App Store developers, which is like it is what it is. But this is kind of the antidote to that. So apparently GrapheneOS, which is the leading privacy-based Android distribution, I would say. I don't know if that's like a fair intro, but
I think that's a fair intro. It only runs on Pixel
great.
hardware, but I think that is fair.
right now it only runs on Pixel hardware, but obviously there is now a plan to expand this, it seems. The post was deleted, so like this is a leak, right? Like maybe this won't be confirmed, but basically it says here in a Motorola presentation, they put a slide that had a mention of GrapheneOS, and it would be a really cool partnership to have this as an OEM option. I kind of see this as when OEMs start to take on, like, Lenovo was like, you can install Linux, and everyone was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I think the same thing is true, like when you see OEMs picking up phones, this is even more important because phones are much more specific hardware-wise and difficult to get running. So having an open standard like between an OEM and a Graphene developer would be really cool, I think. Hopefully they don't force Graphene to compromise. But
I just hope that Google doesn't come in and curb stomp this. Like, I could totally see them being like, nope, you're not doing that. But if you're in this like cell phone market, right? Like, you've got to find ways that you can break out. And maybe this is a way that you can help break out. Like, you can start supporting other operating systems. I know a lot of technical minded people would move to a phone if they would have more control over the underlying operating system, for sure.
Yeah. And I think that's what Graphene really gives you more than anything else.
Oh, and CloudStrife says, I like this optimist take. Let me ruin it. But it'd be really hard to sell phones to technical-minded people when they've all been replaced by AI. But I digress.
All right, thanks a lot, Chad. Get out of here.
All right, let me know when the Lemmings starts, when we're going to jump off a cliff.
What was the last flagship Motorola phone, though?
Dude,
That's
right.
They had the
IBM
Razr.
days?
No,
The
the Razr flip phones, like the foldable screen. There's a lot of people that have those phones.
Okay.
I really want one. They're very popular.
I would say like that. Yes, I think you're right. Basically, what Wade's getting at here is that Motorola has not been the industry leader in the flagship market for a long time, and this will not change that. Yeah. But honestly, I would say like a lot of the people who are using like what I would call low cost Android phones, not flagships, like normal regular phones that you've never heard of. That's
normie phones.
Yeah, normie phones. Those phones, I think, are a way better use case for GrapheneOS. Like these people are running in weird markets, like third party cell carriers, like weird scenarios, and having more control over the OS would potentially be really beneficial for those people.
I will tell you.
Well, and sarsaparilla is like Motorola sucks now, but seriously, if they do this, I'm getting one. That's going to become my primary phone.
They'll also be the primary carrier of most criminals then too. So that's that's.
We already had that, dude. That's so. What you're saying is the FBI. Okay, so you're leaking it now on the show for the first time ever. The FBI is buying Motorola and GrapheneOS, and
they're doing it again. They're doing it again.
There's no way. It was an awesome book. It was an awesome book.
They're rebooting.
You see, Pete. It's not that Pete ever listens or watches the show. That's how you do it.
Honestly, Motorola with graphene on it out of the box would get me to actually pay for my own, buy an Android phone.
But you could just buy a Pixel today, buy a Pixel 8, buy a Pixel 9, and just set it up there. I've got some right now.
I can, but I don't trust it.
Well, that's the whole point.
I don't trust it. No. That's not what I mean.
Long-term.
The long-term situation with the Pixels and with what Google started doing last year with locking away the code for the hardware behind a case and situation where they've got this is our model phone that isn't actually the same as Pixels anymore because we want to make Pixels more specifically ours. Dropped, and I'm pretty sure that was what kicked Graphene to say, so we need to find another manufacturer to make sure that everything plays nice and we get all of the code for going all the way down to bare metal on the hardware, and make sure that all the stuff we're putting into Graphene isn't being subverted by something at deep kernel level or over in what amount to vulnerable DLLs. Not that that's actually on Android, but
All right,
Yeah.
click the link that Ashley just sent. Like Ashley hasn't talked all news.
I know. I just
She's
unearthed
throwing
this
it.
Fish us,
link that
Ashley.
confirms it by Motorola.
I didn't realize Motorola was a Lenovo company, and it wasn't
This
until
fits.
recently that I realized that Lenovo is China.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Lenovo was originally, actually,
It was IBM.
Yeah, no, Lenovo bought IBM's laptop brand, so that's what a lot of people are associating it with. But that was IBM's brand. Lenovo was always, I believe, a Chinese company. I could be wrong, but I think it was. And then they also bought Motorola now, and now they're getting the phones as well. And they've always been a Chinese company. But the Lenovo brand that we're all used to, like buying a laptop, that's actually all of IBM's old stuff. That's why they have a little tracky pad in the middle there. That's an IBM.
ThinkPads,
You mean TrackPoint? Hell yeah.
Yeah, IBM exclusive.
Hell yeah. Yeah, no, this is cool. I guess we should also talk real quick about some actual vulnerabilities, maybe, like pretend like this is not a geopolitics show. CISA has issued an emergency directive for Cisco SD-WAN devices. This is probably worth talking about. Does anyone know what someone has their CCIE or whatever. What's an SD-WAN system? What even is that?
I thought those were I thought they were accelerators. I could be totally wrong. Like WAN acceleration software, similar to like the PepWave, or not PepWave, but there's another Riverbed is another big brand out there that does that. I could totally be off though. So,
Okay.
But there's like a whole market for this kind of stuff. Cisco is a very big company, and they have bought a lot of products and services to fill niches, specifically in the government and other kinds of industries that would be really niche, right? So
Okay. So
SD-WAN is Cisco software-defined wide area network.
Okay, that doesn't help me because I don't know what any of those words mean.
And so it's like the software defined was when I was doing the CCNP and other stuff like that, the whole idea of software defined networking was to get out of the router, right? The physical hardware device, and move to just software devices that would implement that across the board, right? So you're running a lot of x86 style chips that you implement, and you add routing software into them. So
Okay, you guys are no help. I appreciate your attempts though. So someone in Discord said it aggregates WAN links and does other fancy site to site stuff. So this is like a replacement for MPLS, basically, I guess. I don't know. No, I don't know.
no, I don't think. The SD-WAN stuff is. I think it's the software defined networking, and that's like a concept more than it is like a product.
It's
Okay.
In some sense, it's meant to replace dedicated company VPNs, site-to-site VPNs. That's not all it does. That's not exactly what it's for, but that is the old thing that it plugs in and replaces.
So what is the vulnerability?
So the vulnerability is a 0-day, which apparently has been actively under exploitation since 2023. Yikes. But it also ramped up more exploitation in 2025. It was actually disclosed by, Cisco, Talos, and CISA jointly, I think. And basically, the vulnerability itself is, there's a CVE for it. I'm trying to pull it up. CVE 2026 is 20. It's auth bypass, so it's like the same vulnerability we've seen in almost every Cisco product. Unauthenticated remote attacker can bypass authentication, obtain administrative privileges. There's a peering authentication mechanism in an affected system that doesn't work properly, specially crafted requests, the classic, like all the words you're used to. And it affects all the...
Yeah, it sounds...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it sounds like a lot of the same types of vulnerabilities where you trigger, like you said, either provisioning or starting up the first time, like a wizard for authentication, like just accessing those libraries directly within it.
Yeah, it affects all the different ways you could deploy this. Apparently, there's on-prem, Cisco hosted, and there's also cloud. Like, it even affects FedRAMP stuff. So, yeah, basically, it's scary. It's nation-state. It's the same attacking telecoms that we saw in the CrowdStrike threat report. It's the same stuff. Like, companies going after communications infrastructure, or I guess APTs going after communications infrastructure to steal sensitive information. What else we got?
Speaking of phones, and infrastructure, ShinyHunters got someone today.
Yeah.
Oh, where was that article? Gosh darn it.
I'm just gonna Google ShinyHunters and hope nothing goes bad.
They monitor that. They hit some Norwegian telecom. It was like Nido or something like that. And
Odido?
Odido,
Is this
there
the
you
one,
go.
the Dutch one? Dutch.
Yeah. So they pretty much pwned them, exfilled data, and then attempted to, of course, ask for money beforehand. And there you go. Thank you, Ashley. And they said a big no. So ShinyHunters said, "Well, we're going to release the data." No, pretty much our
That is how
thing,
ransomware works.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit more hardcore because it's a telco, right? So
yeah,
it's,
but it looks like they have home addresses, email accounts, bank account details, and IBANs. So passport and driver's license numbers, which I'm sure. So this gets into like this gets into like a bigger question of anytime you're working with anything, and they're like, upload a picture of your driver's license. Hi, Discord, or your passport. I mean,
I forgot about that article.
Talk about like some legislation that we need in the world right now where you need to have some type of security around that stuff. But this looks like this is another one of those scenarios where Odido or whatever is like, yeah, give us your passport, give us your driver's license. Nothing bad will ever happen here. And it seems like almost every time something does bad happen. So who knew?
To configure your home router, please provide your passport and your driver's license.
Oh my God. You joke.
Like, why would they even have this information? Why do they even have this information? I don't know.
So, but a lot of these providers, like I remember years ago with like VPCs and cloud providers, like a long time ago when I was trying to set up websites and different servers in janky places on Southeast Asia for things I was doing at the time. They were totally like, give us a picture of your passport, give us a picture of your driver's license. It was very common whenever you're working internationally trying to get something set up.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I mean, there's always going to be ransomware. What else we got?
I'm still just surprised we haven't created some type of like centralized age verification. Like I know there's that like ID.com or whatever site.
Oh yeah.
But
right.
If you live in Burma, you're good. Otherwise, or Estonia or whatever that has like a national ID system. Anyway, we should talk about the Discord thing because we've been covering this article. So basically, we're talking about age verification stuff. Discord has now put it on hold. So there was enough backlash where they decided, okay, we know you like your, Discord servers. We won't mess with it too much. They posted a blog post on Tuesday, basically saying we're going to hold off on this for now, but we'll let you know. I'm assuming they're not going to change their minds. They're just going to slow down and do it quietly.
And then California said, hold my beer. We're going to start making all operating systems.
Yeah.
Yes.
This gets into like this balance, right? Where it's like, won't somebody think of the children? And if you try to have privacy arguments or conversations around it, they're like, but you support criminals then. It's like, we can't make it like that binary of a decision, right? It's just, I mean, we've been dealing with this for a long time. I go back to the San Bernardino shootings a long time ago, where the week before, literally everyone was freaking out about Facebook and privacy, and Facebook could read your messages, and Facebook could do this, and everyone was freaking out. Then the shooting happened, and then immediately people were like, why wasn't Facebook monitoring for this and, warning people that this would happen? We're going to be fighting this a long time, and you're always going to have the won't someone think of the children group. Because Rob's talking about operating systems, verifying your age before you run an OS.
Well, hold on.
Kidding?
Okay, so this one, this is a joke, to be clear, but I have an easy way to do that. You just have a thing that says, what does this logo indicate? And then it's like, click the correct logo to proceed. Yeah. Click the floppy disk to proceed. And then there's like 9 icons. And if they don't click the floppy disk, then you just say they're underage, right? I mean, it's that easy.
My new AI will be, what's the floppy
If only it was that easy.
No, yeah. I mean, I will say this is kind of crazy, the operating system level. Like, what does this mean? It's illegal to run Linux in California?
Yes. Yes.
Which would make for some awesome T-shirts. That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean,
I'm getting flashbacks to the RSA T-shirts that my college classmates wore.
I
which
feel
ones?
like, okay. Yeah. Which ones?
You cannot export this.
Oh yeah, and it had the code for region locking for DVDs.
No,
okay, I remember
no,
that shirt.
I was
the
thinking
older
free
one.
Mitnick.
The older version of the same idea.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I
So,
wanna say
okay.
RSA 48.
I feel like this is like this is so classic California where every building causes cancer. I think this is going to be like it's either going to go one way or the other. Everyone on the internet is a minor, or everyone on the internet is of age. Like this is going to do is force everyone into this fork in the road where everyone's 18 now. Congratulations, or no one is 18. The whole internet is for kids now. Sorry.
Well, so I guess
okay. As the token Californian in the room.
Okay.
All right, just leave me out of here with the San Diego flag behind me. All right.
That's okay.
You were also a Californian. Third
You
generation.
literally got his sign in the background.
I visited California a couple of times. Go ahead, Bronwyn.
No,
Sorry.
I mean California does try to take the whole privacy thing more seriously, and we saw that with some of the what people call the Californian version of GDPR and some of the other privacy regulations. Absolutely, I agree. This nonsense of requiring all operating systems to have age verification is never going to fly because it's not. I don't have a viable way to verify any person's age with or without government IDs. I mean,
You think that's going to stop California? They'll just keep on rolling, and every building causes cancer.
I was going to say
it will.
Yeah.
It will. I mean, I remember
at the gaming
before we've gone round on legislation like this before, and I'm not going to say that every time calmer heads prevail, but usually the process works better than not.
That's fair. And maybe this will be rolled back. That is entirely possible. California has banned and then pretended to unban gasoline cars like 10 times. So there's another chance for them to ban gas cars and then unban them and then reban them. Maybe that's what will happen. We don't know.
They definitely don't like ice.
We'll see.
Hey, we're not the one naming snowplows fancy things, but that's another conversation.
Internal combustion engines, guys. Jesus.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's terrible. Go back to your.
Well,
I
Ashley
let that one
posted.
go.
Yes, we should talk about the smart glasses one. Is that what you're talking about?
and also the robots. We've talked about robots earlier. We should. This is a little more in the real world robots.
I think we talked about that robot one.
We did.
The vacuum?
Yeah, this is from.
I think
this is
a
new.
different vacuum
Okay,
story.
Ashley, tell us about the robots. Tell us about the killbots you're building in your basement.
Well, there are plenty of them, so beware. Don't annoy me. Anyway, so apparently there's a security flaw in the DJI Romo robot vacuums that allow unauthorized access to them.
No.
Some strategist was playing with Claude code and reverse engineer the protocol, or using it to reverse engineer the protocol, an attempt to communicate with the servers. And instead of just letting him access his own device, it handed him over the keys to 1,700 vacuums.
Yeah, I read deep into it. So he was looking to try to control the vacuum remotely so he could like drive it. And so he used Claude to kind of reverse the API. And then when he got to like trying to control, like, actually making those API requests, he realized that the API did not validate if he owned the device ID that he would enter in the API request. So he would just give it more device IDs, and he could control everything and then get whatever was on of all of those. So
DJI is like, dang it, you found our secret doomsday device, you son of a bitch.
I'm surprised they're letting them sell vacuums after they banned the drones, right? Like, what's this vacuum if not a drone on the ground?
The article does imply that only 6,700 people own them.
Did you see one of the, like, they have the see-through case? It reminds me of very, like, old school Mac, like the ones where you can see all the internal. It's actually pretty cool. I was like, all right, that's cool.
I can't wait till Ukrainians are like, great idea, and they have little robot vacuums driving into buildings to blow up.
It's like the size of a landmine. That's perfect.
Yeah,
you're giving them ideas.
It goes right under trucks. Boom.
The DJI Claymore coming this summer.
You don't even need a hat.
The last article I want to talk about, and then we'll do CTF winners, is someone made an app that tells you if someone nearby is wearing Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses. I love this so much because it's so simple and so basic, but also really neat. So the concept is super simple. For those that aren't Bluetooth or Wi-Fi experts, basically similar to MAC addresses and Wi-Fi, the Meta Ray-Bans have a Bluetooth device identifier they use when they're talking to the, whatever devices are around. And someone just wrote a super simple thing that monitors for that device prefix, basically, and then tells you, hey, someone has one of these nearby.
You can do this for any device, not just
yes, correct.
Any Bluetooth device. You could be like, oh, look, so-and-so has this nearby.
Yes, but someone's wearing AirPods nearby is not as interesting as someone has wearing Meta Ray-Bans nearby.
Yeah.
And it's obviously it's Android only, and it's not, it's probably a side-loaded app. Like, good luck installing this on the Google Play Store or whatever. But it is a cool concept. It's. I will say, Meta could easily get around this. As an example, Mac devices randomize their Wi-Fi MAC addresses. So like they could easily work their way around this if they wanted to, but maybe they will, maybe they won't. It's an interesting area right now where the Meta Ray-Bans in particular, they try to build in some like anti-stalking features. Like if you cover up the recording light, it's supposed to like stop recording and stuff like that. But I mean, to be fair, spy cams have been a thing forever. Like, what was it, the 90s when we had, like, cameras and, buttons in people's shirts and stuff? Like, the FBI is like, we can just wear Meta Ray-Bans? That's kind of cool. But, like, it's not, I mean, this isn't new. Spying on people using tiny cameras isn't new.
No, what I liked about this article when I read it through was that this is like the Wi-Fi pineapple, but it's specific to something that is being used in the field to invade people's privacy. So I thought that was a kind of cool feature. And frankly, as far as Meta obfuscating the MAC addresses, I don't think they're going to do that because then they'd have a harder time data mining who's doing what.
Well,
they already know who's doing what because they control the device, right?
Not to defend the Meta glasses, but just because someone's wearing them doesn't mean they're recording it, right? So, like,
true, that's a good point.
It's not like
yes, and there's a light that's supposed to show when they've turned it on, but there are people selling the service of disabling the light.
Oh, sure, I'm sure.
You just get a Sharpie.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Wow, Wade, you should start a company, man. That's an advanced idea.
I already
$50 a pair of glasses.
I can see him doing this right now. Oh my God, there's a meta glass right there. Get him! And he's just like, what's going on here? Like I'm just wearing these cool glasses around.
They accidentally hit the guy with the chunky glasses.
It was,
right?
but remember, it was like that with the Google glasses. There were people that were getting into big glass holes. There were people that were getting into big trouble wearing those out in public, and I'm wondering how long it is until that stigma is gone.
I think it's already gone. I see people wearing them, and I just think yucky. But I'm not like about to go up to someone and be like, "You turn that camera off," because I'm sitting here like this. Oh, hi, buddy. How's it going? Like everyone's got their phones out all the time.
Yeah.
Somebody just dropped a great snow crash reference. So, okay, that makes sense.
I just can't wait till Damon is a thing. If anyone remembers
gargoyles.
that book, right?
Damon, we're already there.
Like
we're almost. I want to do the with the glasses and track people. Like we're almost.
Yeah. All right. Before we close out with a chicken article, the weekly CTF winners. We have 4 total winners, all of whom have won a course of their choosing on anti-siphon training that doesn't suck. We have Shadowlark, maybe, SHDW Lark. We have Curious 17, Wombat 14, and Intercept or InterCPT.
Well
I don't
done.
know.
Well
Well
Congratulations.
done.
We might be taking a little break on these CTFs, just to give you all a heads up. We got to get some stuff kind of organized. So we might be taking a breather and bringing them back in a couple months.
In the future, we'll let you know when CTFs are back.
Yep.
All right. The
What's this
chicken
about, a
article
chicken
is
article?
it's just a
We have
fish.
chicken news?
It's a fish.
Oh.
The chicken news is a fish. Okay, I'm sorry, everyone. The chicken news is actually just the link that says that basically this is a real thing. Microsoft, in their official Discord, in the Copilot Discord, has banned the term Microslop. That's the chicken article. I don't know why it's in the chicken section. Clearly AI got confused about what chicken is.
Because Microsoft is chicken. There we go.
Oh, because they're too chicken to...
They're too chicken.
They're
to
too...
deal
I
with.
see.
I don't know.
They can't handle the
That's
heat.
the closest I could get.
That's close
Couldn't
enough.
handle the tea. Yeah, there you go.
Well, little
Anyone else
chicks
have
are
any
small,
final articles?
cuddly.
Any
I wish I had
final
more chicken
go-backs?
articles. Yeah,
So
no.
there was one article with actual an exploit, which was the new Wi-Fi exploit. Did you guys? See
Yes,
that?
tell
air
us about
snitch.
this.
That
I
one
saw
was
it in the list and I
really,
didn't...
really. I started reading that and I'm like, this is really a lot of things that have to align. And then I got the point in the academic write-up where they're like, this is really academic. Like, this is such a weird edge case for this Wi-Fi attack to work. So I thought it was interesting, but it's a cool read from a technical perspective. But no, Wi-Fi is not broken all the way down.
It's not broken. It's a layer 1, layer 2 problem too. They're not even into any of the encryption stuff. So
No.
and it's
Right.
definitely one of those things where like there are some ways in the middle where you could do things like anything that's unencrypted. So maybe like DNS or other things like that, changing the addresses there. And there is mitigations that hardware vendors can put in place and other things. So I don't know. Again, got a little technical, as John mentioned, and it's not like, yo, POC just dropped.
Yeah, also, by the way, the transport layer has been assumed compromised for the last 15 years. No one thinks that, everyone thinks that the network they're on is being surveilled, and that's why we have TLS, right? Like,
well, that was like the thing. They were like, make sure you use a VPN on a public Wi-Fi. And I was like, oh, interesting.
This
Which
is sponsored by
they were
NordVPN.
They were also like, if you set up your own networks and want to put in a guest, just start doing VLANs. Like, really.
Well, so I agree with that, but my problem with that is that something that you can roll out to coffee shops? Is that something that you can roll out to general home users? And I think the answer is no. But still, like I said, I loved it from a technical perspective, but there was, like I said, I was like 3/4 of the way through the write-up. They literally just say all of this is like an absolute perfect storm of circumstances for this attack to work. But still, it was an interesting read.
Yeah, I think this kind of academic research is really important. I mean, it's kind of like all the
I agree.
Poodle and
Agree.
SSL version 2 and like fundamental
Oracle
encryption.
padding attacks. Yeah.
Yes. Like it's like it matters, and I'm glad someone's working on it, but also like for those of us like me who are just like computer go burr, like hopefully someone will fix this in Wi-Fi 4.
The other one too recently was the password one too, right? The password managers. And the whole attack was, if they compromised the entire company, 1Password, what could you do?
A lot.
Hey,
Wade has
We don't talk about that, all right? All right, roll the finger.
Let's dwell on that for a few minutes and simmer. On that.
There was
Wade's like, I'm on paternity leave, you asshole.
I think that those types of conversations are important because this goes back to the article we were talking about. Whenever you have a website, totally not 1Password, by the way. But when you have websites and you have services that are like, we want driver's licenses and passports for all of our customers, these questions, I think, are valid questions at some point. That's why really good firms like 1Password, they actually do have a security section where you can see like who's done the pen test, letter of attestation. So you can see that they are actually getting tested on a semi-regular basis. See, Wade, I'm helping out.
Thank you. Yes, that is there. And sometimes I don't know how to feel about that, but it is good for the consumer. It does
It's
make
good
my
for
job.
everybody, Wade.
It does
All
make my
companies
job
should have that.
harder, but yes, you are correct. I agree.
Yeah.
Ralph and I
mean,
had a lengthy discussion about a password manager vulnerability that came out, and luckily I was not on call. So that's
At that time.
yeah.
I mean, it's
Well,
kind of
at the end of the day, using a password manager is better than not using one.
correct.
Agreed.
Yep.
So, can it get popped?
And-
Well, yeah, everything can get popped sooner or later.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why I only use transport over carrier pigeons, which so far there's none of these
No.
attacks work. for
Actually,
that
that's not
protocol.
true. That's not true. That's
Cats.
absolutely wrong.
You live with cats.
Before we shut down, you need to understand that the avian transport protocol has many of the exact same vulnerabilities that exist in a number of other protocols. For example, whenever you're going IP over carrier pigeon during hunting season, you may drop a few packets. Just say. The other thing to keep in mind is what do you call a pigeon in a blender? Packet fragmentation, reassemblies of ditch. And with that, take us out,
All
man.
right.
Appreciate it.
Bye.